Yeah. 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 It's podcast time. What's up, everybody? It's BC Villanova, born on a morning on October. My guest today is the drummer of the two-time Grammy award-winning band, Hootie and the Blowfish. He personally penned some of the band's biggest hits himself. He is the author of an amazing book that came out in 2012, Swimming with the Blowfish, Hootie, Healing, and One Hell of a Ride. Today, as a solo artist, he blends rock, Americana, hope-driven inspiration to tell a deeper story, one of recovery, transformation, and facing adversity. It's the amazing, it's the kind, it's Jim Soni Sonefeld, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
The crowd went wild.
And then they went wild. What's up, buddy? Thanks for doing this, man.
Man, glad to see you again.
Yes, sir. Good to see you. Yes, sir. You've been obsessed with some soccer stuff. I know you're a soccer guy.
It's stealing a lot of my attention, yes.
Yeah.
In a good way, I guess. It only comes around every 4 years. So
yeah.
That's my excuse.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you've been doing soccer from a young age, like that I learned from your book, right?
It's what brought me to Columbia, South Carolina.
Okay,
actually.
yeah.
I was nowhere. I was 800 miles away playing soccer as a kid, and first Virginia, then Northern Illinois, but it was my soccer college dream that got me to the University of South Carolina. So.
Nice. Are you one of the tallest soccer guys ever?
Not ever, but I was on my team, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There was a couple 6'2", 6'3", maybe a 6'4".
Okay.
And
was there a 6'7"? All right, that's just at it. That's not even. Are you familiar with this whole thing? Your kids are too old for that.
I'm not acknowledging it currently.
Okay. That's
the
way to go. Okay, don't yeah, just keep you're doing great, sir. Yeah. Well, the last time I played with you, Les Hall hooked us up, and this was so long ago that it was at Richland Fashion Mall, and it was, if that tells you anything, which doesn't exist in any way anymore, and we played Richland Fashion Mall, and it was a Christian gig, and you were playing guitar and singing, so I was, you were very kind to me, and always been kind to me, and always been one of those, famous rock star people that you talk to and are so nice and like will give advice, and so thank you, buddy. You're great, man. Appreciate you.
Man, we're all just musicians trying to hit a good note, in my opinion. A lot of us have, being a musician and being able to cut out a living even for 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
If you can stay in that game, you're winning, man.
No doubt. Yeah. And one of the songs we played was the Little Revival song. That was like the, great song. And it was Mike Atwater in, do you remember him? I think he was a guitar player in the video. That's our boy.
He was in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was sounding good in the video. For a video, he was mimicking it.
Yeah, he was young back in those days, too. I mean, shout out to Mike Atwater, our boy right there, Jiu-Jitsu and Freeway, and he's awesome, man. So I saw that. That was great.
That song ended up on a record of mine years later, because I don't know what year we were playing our big mall gig, which for those of you kids out there, if you're playing at a mall, it's either you're on the way up or you're on the way down.
Yeah.
It might be good or bad, but
yeah.
We did like a rock up version of that song, probably 2000, my goodness, 12 or 13 or 14, somewhere in there. And in 22, I recorded that. And it's a mid-tempo gospel feel.
Okay.
I did a whole nother thing with it.
That was one of my favorite ones of the Christian songs. A little revival. It had some soul to it, man. That's a good one. So, and I like the fact that you talk about sharing coffee and the word in that song, because I'm a coffee addict. I drink coffee all day long, and I'm like, yeah, if somebody was like sharing the word of God with me, but they also had coffee, I'd be like, I'm going to see what this guy's got to say. Like, take the coffee, you know what I mean? So that's a good way in,
Yeah, written by Radney Foster, our buddy up in Nashville.
Cool.
And Daryl Brown co-wrote that, and another guy whose name I'm going to forget, and that's wrong of me.
That's all right.
It's all right.
You meet a lot of people. You're friends with a lot of people, so it's hard to keep up with all these people. And then this is random, but I was reading your book. Your son Mason, his birthday is October 26th. And my birthday is October 26th.
What?
Yeah, and his middle name is James, and my middle name is James. So little coincidence there,
That's the good October Libran vibe right there, people.
Well, I think he's a Scorpio.
Oh, he is?
He is, yeah, because
And I'm the 20th, so I'm Libra.
Yeah, I had that down also. Here's another thing that's kind of a fun fact, because I looked this up. You share a birthday with Snoop Dogg. Do you know this?
I do know this.
Okay, and you also share a birthday with Kamala Harris. I don't know if you know this. Yeah. William Zab.
Same year as her.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
64, yeah.
Okay, no way. Okay.
Tom Petty, October 20th.
Really? Okay.
And a weird one, it's the anniversary of the Leonard Skinner plane crash.
No way.
October 20th, 1977.
Which they were leaving Columbia, right? Is that true?
No, they were down in Florida. They were in the swampy South, somewhere swampier.
I saw a documentary about that. Like they landed and walked through a swamp, and somebody got shot. And it's just the most badass band that's ever lived, pretty much. I mean,
that's no way to go.
The legend, the legend of Skinner is the mythology is just deep. You know what I mean? Like. That's crazy. Also, William Zabka, Johnny from the Karate Kid, shares a birthday with you October 20th.
My
So
gosh. Mickey Mantle as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, true story.
So you're into this, like the celebrity birthday thing, or just see who else has your birthday thing? Do you do this? Okay.
As long as I'm still on the B or C list of getting mentioned on a birthday, I'll always see who else is on there.
Somewhere in the world, Snoop Dogg's like, yeah, I share a birthday with Soni from Hootie. You know what I mean? Like, that's killer. I wonder if all these guys know that they share a birthday with you. That's the real honor, Johnny from the Karate Kid, he's like wearing his karate bandana. He's like, I share a birthday with Soni.
Oh, my God. That's good. No, I don't know. I don't know about that.
What about this thing? Because, some people say that when your birthday is, you have a certain compatibility with like other zodiac signs.
Yeah.
And one of them is Scorpio and Leo, which I don't know how your son's got a girlfriend or anything like that. And
they've been together a while. And
do you know her birthday?
No.
Okay.
There's some synergy I think that can happen. I've got a good friend who's an astrologist.
Yeah?
And he's deeply into your moons and Mercury's in retrograde right now and all this stuff. Like, whoa.
I'm glad you don't dismiss that, because I wonder about that, like people that are extremely in Christian faith, like I wonder if they dismiss the zodiac, if it's like, a possibility or not. For me, it could be like borderline scientific. Like if you were born in the fall and you got a certain amount of sunlight as a baby, your wife was born in the summer, she got a certain amount of sunlight as a baby, maybe it shapes your brain somehow, some way.
Nature and nurture.
Yeah, maybe so. Just for the record, my wife's a Leo, I'm a Scorpio, and then my best friend is a Leo, and his wife's a Scorpio, and I know like 5 or 6 other examples of this. So anyway.
I'm a Libra married to a Scorpio.
Okay. Good man.
Go figure that.
God bless you, sir. We're a tough breed. We're tough ones over here. The Scorpio people are crazy. I know that. So, yeah. Well, how did the B Rights gig go? You're in a band with some friends of ours, right?
Yeah. Mark Bryan and I, the Hootie guitarist, sort of got an offer to appear at the upcoming festival that they're doing at the new Finley Park. And we thought probably teaming our efforts would be better than anything individual.
Yeah.
And so we had just talked a little bit about what it could look like musically and instrumentally. And we have some friends from our the Hootie band and the Hootie touring band. And Mark is more active in music in general. So he has a lot of players that he knows. And so we put it together and sort of did an Americana bluegrass version of Hootie the Blowfish, Mark Bryan, and Jim Sonefeld, and really had a good time with it. Got to have a guest sit in. Sam Bush sat in and played fiddle with us.
Not a bad one. Okay,
yeah. Like I felt almost legit there for a minute at a bluegrass festival playing with Sam Bush. We knew him anyway. He's been on a Hootie record before, but to have him jump up was like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
We're those guys.
And then Ryan Monroe, shout out to Ryan, our buddy. I love Ryan. He's so talented, man. He actually borrowed my keyboard for y'all's gig, so I was like connected in a weird way to the gig. I was like, my keyboard's up there. He's playing it. But he also played mandolin, too. Like, Ryan just plays everything, too. He's just a beast.
Multi-instrumentalist. And thank you for lending him that keyboard.
No problem, man. My pleasure.
The one he brought to rehearsal was trash.
He spilled too much on that one from back in the day, from Band of Horses gigs. Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah, we had a good lineup. Gary Green, who has been our longtime percussionist and background vocalist, multi-instrumentalist, played percussion for us. And our buddy Jonathan Gray from Jump Little Children, played stand-up bass.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
it was pretty ripping. They had a great crowd down there. I hope they did well enough financially at the festival to have a second year, because I think it'd be a good event for Columbia. Sort of a, if you're familiar with Merle Fest up in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, it was sort of a mini version of that, and that's a nice vibe for Columbia.
Yeah.
It was pretty chill.
Are you into bluegrass? Were you inspired by bluegrass growing up?
There's nothing I don't listen to.
Same,
I would say more Americana is what I would listen to, but I like acoustic-based music.
Right.
I don't necessarily have to go fast and have a mandolin player going tick, tick, tick,
yeah.
But the genre intrigues me. We've been up to Merle Fest tons of times as a family, and
That's
with
cool.
my siblings, and the band even played there a long time ago. And so I love that style. There's no gimmicks. You got to be able to play. You got to be able to sing.
On an acoustic guitar. And if you listen to those old like Tony Rice records, and he is just ripping. And some of those Brad Paisley guys, I mean, they're doing similar stuff, but it's on electric guitar with some reverb on a Telecaster. Like, imagine doing that just acoustic. I mean, it's absolutely insane what those old school bluegrass players could do and how fast their fingers are.
Yeah, I love that. No effects to, sort of like bring the audience along or inspire. It's just the music. There's rarely a show to go along with it. There's not a lot of dancing and
or it's just one mic and they're all around it.
I love
fiddle
that.
and banjo.
That's
It's very family oriented.
Yeah, great form, and it's just a real genre. You can't screw around and act like you know what you're doing.
That's probably like the earliest Christian music, I would say. Like it extends from mountain music, and I mean nowadays there's like Christian rap and Christian metal and everything. But originally it was like just those guys singing hymns.
I mean,
probably
there wasn't a lot of amplification for a few thousand years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
it was vocal and mainly probably a cappella, but you look at the biblical references of the lyre or the lyre, whatever the heck that is, some stringed instrument.
Yeah.
And it's in scriptures, and you think, oh, there was a guy jamming in the corner.
Yeah.
In the scripture. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. The lute, I think, was another instrument that would have been popular biblically. So.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And what an all-star band with that Finley Park gig you did, man. The Jump Little Children guys, I mean, that's freaking amazing. And they just stopped touring not too long ago, I guess. I guess they're supposedly done. I hope that's not true. I hope they go back on the road, but or some of our friends work with them. Vance McNabb manages them and on the road with them. So hopefully they'll just be like, just kidding, we're going back on tour, but they might be done. I don't know.
Yeah, they're musicians. We're fickle.
Right,
I don't know if
that's
you've
right.
noticed
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's like the Kiss Farewell Tour Part 3 or something,
Ooh, yeah, that
come
thing
back.
lasted a while.
There's a long farewell, But hey, why even say farewell? Just go back out. Who cares? Just do it again. And Mark Bryan, very nice guy, sweet guy. We'd be playing at the Windjammer in Isle of Palms, and he would come in there and buy merch, like buy everybody in the bar a shot, like just total energetic, like very supportive. And I mean, he didn't have to do all that. You know what I mean? It's always so cool to see him in Charleston. So all you guys are freaking cool, man. So
we all feel pretty comfortable in a bar.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's like it's a more of a brotherhood than going out and playing amphitheaters. Really. When you're in a bar and it's not the most perfect environment.
Yeah.
It's gritty, it's junky, but it's real.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's kind of where we grew up learning our trade. And so I think we're always, if we ever get a chance to jump up in a bar, that's like kind of our comfort zone.
Yeah. And the book is so good. You got to check out his book if you haven't yet. It is so amazing. And we can kind of get into this. But just listening to it, and it's so familiar, too, all the places that you talk about in Charleston and Columbia and the way you guys got together. I feel like it's a very common tale. Like, everybody can relate. Everybody that's ever been into a band, especially around here, the places that you talk about and that you play, obviously, like, your career was amazing and a lot more amazing than most people. But everybody started out, I feel like, the way that your book starts out. Like, it's a very common tale, at the beginning.
I've read a lot before I wrote mine, and since I've read a ton of sort of music bios.
Same,
I'm interested and there are some themes. Now I'm 10 or 20 or 30 books in, even the most recent one, Melissa Etheridge's book. they all kind of have that beginning tale. Where were you on some couch or somebody's car, your parents listening to what? There's that first influences you remember. It's never just one band, but most of the guys that are my age or older, it's almost always the Beatles. My life changed when I saw the Beatles on TV.
Yeah.
And it's like that is the most consistent thing I've heard in any of the books. And then depending on the artist and their age, some of them change a little bit, but it's usually a hit on a radio, and, and you hear it and you go, wow, that makes me feel a certain way and a certain emotion. And I started my book the same way. Like, what was I listening to at that young age that was influencing me when there weren't as many options? Kids today, they have in-ears and they got a billion songs on a phone in front of them. And probably you're a little younger than me, but we kind of grew up with a limited selection,
Yeah. I was thinking about this today because I took my kids to Firehouse Subs, and it was like, almost $40 for just us three. But it's like back in the day, you could spend $10 to $15 on a CD, and that CD could be good or bad. It could be the Hootie the Blowfish CD, or like it could be anything, some crazy metal band. I mean, maybe you did like the double disc album, and that was $20. But basically, for the same cost now that you get like a burrito for or a sandwich for, that was a CD cost back in the day. And a CD, you're talking a whole band, producers, like songwriters, blood, sweat, tears, putting this piece of art, and now it's like the same cost as getting like a one-off burrito. Like if you want to afford a CD, just don't get one burrito. But then again, you got your phone, like you were saying, and it's like Spotify songs, and kids are still into music the same, but it's just their appreciation, maybe not appreciation, but their like relationship to it is so different. And maybe it's fine, but it's just so different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is different. I miss the shared experience. Now they share and make playlists for one another. Like I made some mixtapes.
Oh,
and we share those around, but there's not as many common spaces where a room full of people are forced to listen to one song.
Right,
Back in the day, there was a stereo with speakers, and now everyone has that on their own. I wish there were more places where, hey, we're all going to listen to a certain song and vibe on that. I don't think there's as much as that now, as much as there's choice.
Right, for sure.
It's everybody on their own in their ears, and I think that loses something in relationships.
Totally.
Something about, who's going to put on a 45 or an album or a CD, because we're all going to listen to it.
One of the most bonding experiences you can have with a human being is like just riding around. Somebody's like, all right, listen to the song, bro. And you just put it in, you sit in silence, and by the end of it, you're like, holy shit. You're just talking to your boy or whoever. And I think that still happens, but now it's like, hey, man, let me text you this song, bro. You know what I mean? That's the shared experience now. So you're still by yourself. And it's just different.
Let me ask you, if you're in the car and you're putting on a song for somebody to listen to, do you insist that they shut up and they listen to the whole song?
Yes.
Hey, it's just like you stop.
Oh,
and
and
like,
my
don't
wife,
talk to her. It's the chorus.
Oh, my wife's the worst. She'd be like, now who's on the song again? I'm like, just, and I'll pause it, like answer a question, and then I'm tempted to like hit rewind. I'm like, let's start over. You know what I mean? And then she'll like do this for a minute. She's like, now what did he say right there? What's the lyric? I'm like, just same thing with movies, by the way, but but a song is like, you only have to wait 4 minutes tops, unless we're listening to Mountain Jam by the Allman Brothers or something. Like, we're not gonna make you sit here for 30 minutes. Like, just be quiet, let's listen to the song,
Yeah, because you want them to hear the ride, the low, and then the high, the rise, the lift, and then the bridge. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. You want them to listen to the whole thing, which is hard. Don't ever watch a movie next to me then, because you'll hate me. I have to ask 20 questions because I'm super slow. I get off track. I'm distracted. Like, how does he know that that's his brother? How does is he? What's his name? Is he from another country? Like a million freaking stupid questions.
No, I'll watch a movie with you, man. That's not going to bother me if it's you. I'm like, no, whatever. I'll answer Soni's question. I'm not going to answer like my wife's question. What kind of music do you? What kind of movies do you watch?
A variety. We love independent films, Laura and I. So we like to support our independent theater downtown and
Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
killer. Yeah, it's a great one.
And you can find a lot of independent stuff on the streaming platforms as well. But we're probably less horror movies and less sci-fi movies. Her and I, we like stories that have good dialogue, sort of and relationship stuff. I don't know what that. I think I've always been like that.
Rom-com?
They can be rom-com-y,
Okay.
but they can just be rom.
Just rom. Oh, yeah.
They can just be rom.
Just rom. You've seen The Notebook, I imagine.
About 73 times.
Did you cry when you watched The Notebook?
I've probably cry every time now that I know.
Yeah.
But the first 10 times, because it's Laura's like favorite maybe movie of all time.
Yeah.
I'd watch half of it or come in during the middle, and I'd always, again, stop it because I have a million questions.
Oh, yeah.
Well, wait, who is James Garner? Is he that guy when he's old? Like, it took me a while, but that's, about as good as it gets for you're going to cry. We cried at the movie last night. We watched it's a new Sally Field movie about she works in an aquarium. There's an octopus in there that has dialogue that it's thinking. It's not a talking octopus.
Right.
But you're hearing its thoughts, and there's a common struggle. Mm-hmm. I was wiped out at the end.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I cry pretty easy during movies. It especially if it like totally locks me in, because I always relate it to my life, and especially now that I'm a dad, like it'll make me realize a relationship area that I have to my own kids, and I'll cry about that. Things just set me off all the time, man. But I try. Why are we always so embarrassed to cry as human beings? But like, especially a dude, you're like, something in my eye, bro. I don't know what's going on. But it's like, but people cry. You should cry. It's like a normal thing. I mean, if you don't cry, you're just going to have all this pent up rage probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah, eventually we age out of worrying about what other guys think. There's a macho thing that I think tapers off when we get in our maybe 40s or 50s naturally. And I think we learn that it's also probably a little better trait to be able to be vulnerable around the opposite sex. I think like, hey, look at this. Oh, look at he is so sensitive.
Yeah.
I think that's okay to show that vulnerability around your kids too. I think it's highly valuable. I don't want to put up a sheen that acts like I'm tough guy. There's times I have to be strong and the strong one, but I don't necessarily want to be blocking my emotions. They need to see, oh, my dad cried.
Right, yeah,
my dad's upset. My dad threw a beer bottle again. Damn.
Yeah.
He hit the dog this time. That's terrible.
Been there before now. Yeah, I mean, it was all how you're raised, too. Like, I had an older sister and mom that were very prevalent in my life, so I'm a very sensitive dude. But, I mean, my dad cried, too. I mean, all dads cry. If they don't, then they just did it in private. That's the truth of it, probably, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody doesn't cry.
Right.
It's where you choose to do it. And it's more acceptable now. My parents were born in the 30s. And so there were
Nobody cried in the 30s. Nobody's crying in public in the 30s.
We're at war, damn it.
Yeah.
There's no crying in war.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, times continue to change.
That they do. Yeah, I cried in church this Sunday. I play keyboards in a church, and shout out to East Minister Presbyterian and Forest Anchors. I've been playing some keyboards with them a little bit, so it's a nice little, it's a paying gig, and they're very sweet people. And so I'll sit there and watch the sermon after we play 2 songs, and then they'll talk about somebody's grandma, and I'll be like, but even then I'm like catching myself like, are the other musicians, do they know that I'm crying, bro? Like, I hope they don't see me,
So what got you this weekend?
He was talking. It was the pastor. It was a lady. She was talking about her mom dying and her grandma dying, and like we all face that fear and reality eventually, and just what hopefully it's later than sooner, but it's like I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about my kids, and like you're always like, am I enough to the people in my life? You know what I mean? Like your own kids especially, like am I enough, or like really am I enough period is probably like a just overall common thought. Like that's probably the chink in my armor, the main one.
Were you in the Jubilee service?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great service. That's a great room. I sang in there last summer to a big group. And
really? That's cool.
It's a nice room if you can keep the noise down. You know, keep it down.
We got Electric Kid in there. And
Did Chuck Stiles quit or something? Is that why you're in there?
I don't know.
Do you remember Chuck from Rear Windows? It was a band in the probably late 80s, early 90s. I'd probably age him wrongly. Chuck was a buddy of mine that was leading that group in there in the Jubilee service, and that's about a block from my house.
Okay, cool.
How I know about it.
Oh, speaking of which, shout out to my student Michelle, who is a drummer. I think she said she saw you like walking your dog or something like that. So we won't like talk about it, obviously exactly where you live. So some stalkers are like, yeah, I'm going to his house. But Michelle's like, I think I saw Soni. Like, I think he, and I was like, oh, I'll tell him, like, maybe you're his neighbor. So very sweet lady, Michelle Barnes. If you ever see a lady walking her dog, maybe you guys live near each other or something, but
I walked him right before I got here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Big fan of dogs?
Big fan of dogs.
Me too.
Good, bad, ugly, smelly.
Yeah.
Licky.
Yeah. Lick you right in the face, mouth, whatever. Sleep with you in the bed or no?
Not anymore. I
Okay.
had those years in my life, but no, I appreciate my bed too much.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not. Nope.
It's,
Sorry, guys.
yeah.
Sorry, ladies.
Yeah. Oh, you got girl dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of 50, 60-pound
Okay.
labish mutts.
Oh, yeah. They get big and they get stinky too, those labs. Like one dip.
I run them out in the woods, so they come home with a lot on them.
Yeah, and they're like, what is that, a dead fish? Oh, sweet. And they just roll in it.
In there.
And then they're like, I bet my master loves this, And you're just like, all right.
You're
Yeah.
going to get a bath, backyard bath.
There is no better sleep than when you got a dog at your feet. And maybe you're the guy from Scream is never going to come in with a knife like when your dog's at your feet, or else you'll know it. You know what I mean?
Is that what's going through your head when your dog falls?
Yeah, like I guess you don't watch a lot of horror movies, so you probably don't think about this kind of stuff. But sometimes I'm just like, well, if I got my dog in here, I'm good, man. She'll alert me, and I can wake up and grab a weapon or something.
Our dogs are generally great watchdogs, and we live in a neighborhood, and we know a lot of our neighbors. And it was a Saturday night, and we hadn't gone to the Carolina game, but when they let out, you can tell when the traffic starts flowing back into Shandon or into through the neighborhoods. And we're sitting there watching something on TV, and dogs laying right there. And all of a sudden, the front of our house is quite a way back from where we watch TV. Suddenly, we hear steps coming through the kitchen right before they hit our room, and there's a guy standing there with a big bag of like bottles or liquor or beer, and the dogs haven't made a sound.
Yeah.
He got all the way there, and he says, I guess this isn't the right house. He had walked in the wrong house.
Okay.
And my dogs hadn't said a peep. Like, now there's someone in our house, and you aren't saying, you're not barking.
This is just a joke at this point for guard dogs. Like, they're failing on the job for that. But, not all dogs are guard dogs. Some dogs feel like, well, I guess I'll just be a friend to all humanity and just, wag my tail. And, I guess that's okay, too. We need that also.
My studio at home isn't a studio. I'm low tech, no tech. So our piano that I mostly write my music on is, you can see the front door about 35 feet away.
Oh, cool.
So if someone's standing there, they see me playing piano.
Yeah.
And so how many times I get to about 30 seconds into a song that I'm recording on my iPhone technology.
Oh, yeah.
And someone's at the door. I'm just waiting for the dogs to come out ballistic. Pause.
Yeah.
Retake.
So they don't alert you for anybody. Okay.
They only come when they know I'm on record.
Okay, that's it. All right, yeah. Gotcha.
The guy with all the liquor that came in after the Carolina game?
Yeah.
They didn't care.
They didn't care. He's like, seems like a nice guy, Could have been an axe murderer. You don't know. Well, another cool thing about your book is Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes. He was a big part. This happens at the end of your book. Oh, and by the way, Soni narrates his own book. So I love that when authors do that, because why not do that? I mean, it's already your voice mentally that people hear when they're reading it. But then it's like so nice, the actual person that reads it to read it to you. I love that,
I tried to get out of it. I thought I don't either want to. I don't think I might be good at it. And Laura was like, you need to be that voice, exactly what you're saying. You need to be that voice so people can know you. Yeah. And it was hard. It took a long time. It was harder than I thought. I don't even know that I was relatively good at it, but I'm glad I did it in the end because you want to hear that person. Good. I finished the Melissa Etheridge book today, and it went right into a segment of, what's her name? The dancing singer that did Britney Spears.
Oh, yeah.
And she's announcing, this is my audio. They're trying to get you to buy it. This is my audiobook segment. And I read part of the book, but the parts that are too sensitive, I got someone else to read. I'm like,
wow.
click. I'm not going to listen to someone else tell me all your painful stories.
Yeah.
Or nor did I really want to listen to a Britney Spears book. But
right. Well,
to be
I'm sure it'd be
honest.
interesting. But yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you did that and talk about like a mentor for recording a book, because the Steve Gorman book for the Black Crows. First of all, I read it first, and then it's like, I'm driving a lot, and it's like driving and reading, like, forget driving and crying. The man is like driving and reading. That's too dangerous. So like, listening and driving is the new thing to do. I don't know what people do more. I do both. I still have books. Do you still do books too?
I do both.
Okay, yeah.
I read the Steve Gorman book at first, and I now listen to a lot on tape when I'm walking the dogs or driving. There's just a lot of good options out there.
Oh yeah,
his book is incredible. That was
man, I have re-listened to it, and I'll just, if I'm riding, I've already heard it so many times, but he's so animated, and there's so much dirt, and I love Chris Robinson. I love the Robinson brothers, but there's a lot more. There's a lot of dirt there, and it's just entertaining, and it's entertaining as hell. And that's one thing about the Hootie story is, like, you guys are still all friends and not that screwed up, seemingly. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, I had some help. I had a couple mentors, and Steve was the one who helped point me towards the right people who were in the publishing industry.
Yeah.
And he inspired me with his book, but he was very encouraging to me in general. Yeah, keep writing, man. But when I got in there, and I'd written for several years and started sharing a couple of the segments with an editor, he had some good advice for me about, like, I wasn't writing a tell-all book, for one. We hadn't had a big breakup like the Black Crows had. It wasn't divisive. We had gone through a lot of stuff together that wasn't always publicized, and we went through enough heartache just trying to get our career together. Mm-hmm. And then some of the after cracked rear view when sales went down and we didn't have a label. There's like enough there to, talk about, I felt, but he was feeling like it was going too far into, you kind of sound like a whiny old rock star, dude, or complaining about what a lot of people on the outside look at as a pretty blessed life, to be able to sell records and have a career like that. And he kind of shook me up a little bit to maybe you can angle it more towards making your bandmates the heroes at times.
Yeah.
And it really, made me think, there's a lot to complain about, sure, but does somebody that's picking up that book on a shelf want to hear some old 50-some-year-old rock star complain about shit? No, I don't think so. He was right. Even though I had a lot to get off my chest, he's like, we're not using that. Rewrite it and tell me what was heroic about your bandmates. That's a good story.
That is a very good story, and I loved all of it. There's something I actually wrote down. You said your wife said this. It was less gory, more glory. I thought that was genius. I'm like, but so it kind of plays into what Steve told you as well, I guess. But
yeah.
I love gory, too. Like, I love Motley Crue. I want to hear about heroin. Like, I want to hear it all. You know what I mean? Like Slash, like whatever, people ODing and stuff. Like, I'll read all those biographies too. I'm for the glory and the gory, personally.
And she was talking about me talking to some audiences out there about recovery and stuff too.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
which is, the story of how someone, in my case, becomes addicted or an alcoholic or a drug addict, and then how they might get the miracle of recovery. Mm-hmm. She was saying I was spending too much time in the tell-all part.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even though I was telling on myself, she's like, that's all exciting and fun and dramatic, but what about the solution? What about the answers? That was her thing about gory and glory.
Right.
She was absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Like Gorman's book, for instance, is gory.
Right.
And that's what makes it good,
Right, yeah.
The glory is he finally made his way out of it with his own peace intact, peace of mind, I guess. But yeah, gory and glory, depends who you're talking to, I think. Fully. And another thing I thought about, like, what if the Robinson brothers do become big Christians after all this? I mean, it's a far-fetched thing. Could you imagine the gospel songs that would come out of the Black Crows? You know what I'm saying? With that guy's voice. I mean, he's one of my favorite singers of all time. That's one of my favorite bands of all time. Iconic.
So.
I mean, he's like one of the voices of the 90s.
Yeah.
And so.
Did you guys ever play with him?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We've done a lot of stuff.
Oh, duh. You met. That's why you're friends with Steve Gorman, probably.
From back in the day doing shows. I don't know where we were, but we had a night off, and they had a regular night on stage, and they were pulling out party goods like they weren't going on stage. Like I would have never done the things that they were doing and attempted to play drums.
Yeah.
But we're all like, hey, it's our off night. We're just here to see y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Take this.
The best musician in the Black Crowes was Ed Harsh. He was the keyboard player. He's like my biggest inspiration on organ, and Les Hall, of course. But he is a badass, and I don't think he had a day sober in like 40 years or something. You know what I mean? They were like, he's sober-ish, but that was still, maybe he wasn't drinking that day, but he was doing something. But just phenomenal musicians. But
yeah, that's a good band. One of the most iconic bands.
Yeah.
I guess started more 80s. I found an old, when I was writing my book, I was researching where we had come from in terms of what was around us when we were trying to break in the late 80s and early 90s. And I knew that they used to have these little printed calendars they'd hang up around campus from WUSC. They would show the local scene, where the live shows are. Rockefeller's had one. Green Street's did. And I found a place where those are all exhibited.
Oh, cool.
And I went back and I found this great one, which was in 1 week was a band I'd played for, Bachelors of Art.
Okay.
Another band that I had yet to be in, Hootie and the Blowfish, and the band I was currently in, Tootie and the Jones.
Okay.
And alongside of that was the Black Crows, Mr.
Crow's Garden.
Mr. Crow's Garden on the same week.
No way.
Like, that's so cool that at one time nobody knew where we would all go.
Yeah.
It was probably late 80s or something like that, mid 80s.
Wow. Did you ever know Sourwood Honey, by the way? Okay, that was my brother's band. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Okay, I know if you knew that. Okay, that's cool. I know they were in the same era coming up in Rockefeller's. Like, that's just such a cool thing about your book, like name checking all these old spots in the Carolinas and Atlanta and all that places.
I hate I missed not being able to tell, because of my bad memory, the whole scene that was around here during that time, because it's brilliant. I mean, not only in the 90s and early 2000s, but going back to the 80s, there was some pretty iconic live music happening around Columbia. Sourwood Honey was definitely one of them, and some bands that were able to play for years, and you were just partners. Hey, where are you playing tonight? Are you making any money at a bar?
Yeah.
Are there any frats that need a party band? You kind of shared that info, because really none of us knew what the hell we were doing, I don't think.
That's cool. It's so inspirational. And the cool thing about living in South Carolina playing music is really you can drive 3 hours in any direction and you'll find somewhere to play. I mean,
the coasts made us in the early 90s. Myrtle Beach, and maybe less so Charleston, but Hilton Head, because we kind of understood during the summer months and some of the spring break months that there was a turnover there. So if you could get multiple gigs in a month at a place on one of those tourist locations, there was a new crowd.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't like, and if you were selling original music, for us it was on cassette mainly. These people were going back home to Ohio or Toronto or Boston with your little 5-song demo. That's how we spread the seed of Hootie the Blowfish music for a bunch of years, like realizing ding ding.
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach, crush that between May and September as much as you can. And plus our van wouldn't go much further. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. And did you guys come home and work day jobs at first? Because that's another thing about the South Carolina gig, is you can do what you're talking about and you're back to work on Monday. You know what I'm saying?
That was I wish when young musicians ask, and I'm sure they ask you too, advice about how do you make it and how do you do this. I think back to those periods where it was the late 80s for us and early 90s. We before college and then graduating college with a degree, but you've got a day job. It's not like you jump onto a tour.
Yeah.
You're begging and looking for an audience. So if you can get a Friday and Saturday night, that's great. If you get a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night after you've done it a while, you're really doing, a 4-night week is like you've been around a little while, you've nurtured it, you maybe have a booking agent, but you're always going back to that job. And we did. We went back every Monday morning. And eventually, at first we could work a 5-day week. And then it was like a 4-day week. And then when you start asking a lot of Thursdays off, because you're doing better, your boss is looking at you like, are you really here? Do you still work for us? And
where'd you work at, if you don't mind me asking? What was
I was at the university in their sort of TV, television, and audio production.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you mentioned that in your book.
Mark did this similar thing for Watch TV, because he was a journalism major. And Darius was working at Sounds Familiar. He was
nice.
So he kinda
No way.
He knew a little bit about how music was tabulated, and he knew about all the new artists coming through and what was going to be big or was already big. Dean worked at a bar in Five Points.
Okay. Yeah.
Dean, who's got an official finance marketing degree.
Yeah. Well, everybody works at a bar at 5 Points at some point. I wonder how many people just bought a CD from Darius, not knowing that one day he would be like one of the most famous singers.
Absolutely. He loved it. He loved his job, and we all worked it up until the same point. We said, I think we can afford to actually quit.
Yeah.
We went back. I mean, we became poorer at that point, and it puts a lot of pressure on you, but it allowed us daytimes and longer times to rehearse and to, get ready. And if we had a chance to go on a road trip that was going to take us so far north or west that we had to connect it to another week, it would allow us to spend 10 days out there and not have to worry about reporting home.
And talking about Darius, and we were talking about this earlier, you used to not have a click track. Y'all would just drum and jam. And then I read in your book that some of the early vocals that he would just lay down actually ended up being the vocals. Like most vocalists have to record take after take after take to get the vocal perfect. But they're like, Darius is like a one-take Timberlake, according to the book. He's just he sings it once, and like, good God, that was good. All right, let's keep that one,
I mean, the value of rehearsal, and we called it honing your craft, going out and doing 100 shows where you didn't have those things. You didn't have pitch correction. You didn't have click tracks.
Yeah.
You learned how to play your instrument, and you learned how to communicate on stage. And for Darius, a natural singer, he still had to learn how to hit notes when you're playing 3-4 shows in a row. And by the time we got to the studio, let's say our Atlantic Records debut in '94, we had those songs dialed in. We'd been playing Hold My Hand, Only Want to Be With You, Time, Let Her Cry. We'd been playing those for several years in front of audiences. And so the studio was just this weirdly sterile place where you did the exact same thing. So he there weren't a lot of we got to do another take of Darius. No, he knew how to hit the notes, and
he'd sing it a million times by that point.
And we'd played it together too. The only weird thing was getting in a environment where there wasn't a couple hundred fans and the stench and Jägermeister. Recording at 3 p.m. in a clean studio that's big, kind of freaks you out. It's there's nothing natural about that.
When you heard Darius sing the songs that you wrote sometimes, Let Her Cry, Hold My Hand, and you heard his glory, and you got a good singing voice too, buddy, but I'm saying when you heard Darius' voice singing your songs, were some part of you you son of a bitch, you sound so good, bro, but
I looked at it. I looked at it when I was writing. I was thinking, I can't wait to hear what Darius is going to do with this.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew how to hit notes. I wasn't super confident, and I don't have that thick, husky, textured voice of his. And I knew what that could do for a song.
Yeah.
But the first song I'd written for the band, I wrote it right before joining, Hold My Hand. And so I wasn't thinking when I wrote it, gosh, I imagine this guy.
You wrote that before you joined the band?
Yeah.
That was a good deal for them.
Well,
Dang.
we were, it was 1989. We still were just starting to write originals. So it was putting a few originals into a set that included The Police, Joe Jackson, R.E.M., all that stuff. And so we were learning how to write together, but I never imagined his voice on it when I was writing it.
Yeah.
And so once I heard his voice on it, I'm like, oh, I got to keep writing some good stuff, because if that's the voice that's going to lift this song, I need to keep writing. Time was the same thing. I wrote the time, all that, but I'm going, Darius's voice is going to crush this thing. So I wasn't quite thinking what you were saying. It was more like, we have a tool here. We have a gift that is going to be a benefit. If I can write some good melodies or some good lyrics, he's going to take it to the next level.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I had a beastly drummer named Jeremy Robertson, and I remember he would always do this triplet thing. So I would write songs with that in my mind and be like, okay, I bet Jeremy could do something cool with this riff. Yeah. And I guess you start thinking about your bandmates, and I had a DJ/keyboardist in my band, and Bobby Dredd's an amazing slap bass player. So I would start thinking about those as tools in my tool sheet. I'd be like, all right, right here, I bet he could do something cool. And I would just bring up the concept to him and let them kind of work it out themselves, and it would always deliver. But you kind of know your boys' skills and their talents, and you start to it's like painting a picture, and you use that that whatever color that is, and you're like, man, they would kill this. So I do understand what you're saying. Like, that's cool. That's awesome that you guys
That's
had
called
that
being in a
experience.
band, man.
Yeah.
And that's hard, again, for maybe some younger players who grow up playing and recording on their laptop and maybe more in their own world. It's hard to work with other musicians, you know. If you're all on the same page, it's a little easier, but it's hard to communicate ideas. It's hard to you have to build trust, for, you know, to take other people's not only suggestions but criticism at times. It's a whole lot. It's like being married to 3 other dudes, and you're in a business together too. It's like one of the most complex groups of people that exist, in my opinion, because you're burdened with a lot.
Yeah, that's well said.
And you're staying together. You're most likely roommates because you're in a van, or even I lived with Mark for many years, and Dean lived with Darius, and so you're roommates, business partners, artistic partners, and you're young, so you don't know shit anyway.
Right. And that's very well said. And another thing is, like, you got to learn how to fight and get over it quickly, because you can't hold grudges, or else it's just going to sour and make everything toxic. But of course, you're going to fight. But it's like, and that's the thing about me, because I was always so sensitive and like Mr. Like, let's get everybody's got to get along all the time. But that's just not the reality. You got to.
Libra. You're on the cusp of Libra. That's why.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Because 26th is right on the edge of being a Libran, and that's all about balance, the scales, and equality.
Okay, it all makes sense now.
Said the guy who knows little about astrology.
Sounds like you do. Well, I mean, and another thing about the Christianity thing is like forgiveness. And of course, I mean, even before I was really into Christianity, it's like forgiveness is just like an obvious tool. Like, I mean, I was always into it. It's like, yeah, man, it's just water under the bridge. I think we're all figured out that that's the way to be. And you can say some stuff you don't mean, especially when you're drunk and like it's late and you've been in a van with somebody for a month or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're hugging it out the next day, you know?
You're not saying it as if it's, you know, you're trying to win, or just like it's going to be the be all end all. It's just another round in a long, you know, sort of fight that you're all in together.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Speaking of Darius, this is kind of funny, but like the wagon wheel video, the guitar player, he's got a top hat on, he's got a soul patch and sideburns, and I jokingly told some people that it was me in the wagon wheel video, and I got like 500 comments on it, like, oh my God, like, congratulations. And it was an April Fool's Day prank, and of course it was the amazing Quentin Gibson, I think was actually the real guy, who kind of favors me, except he's a lot more badass. And but I was like, dude, I'm so sorry, that was April Fool's. So I kind of I did this prank that it was me in the video, wasn't me.
That is funny. Yeah, he's a beast. He's a
great guitar player,
very solid on stage. Hung out with him a lot. He's like, oof.
Yeah,
one of those guys. He's got it dialed in.
Yeah, he's one of those pros. I mean, you know, so I was just flattered that people actually thought it was me. I was like, oh, cool. Like, dang.
You didn't want to go with it? Go with it and say,
that was me, actually. Don't worry about what Soni said. The Quentin guy. That was me, guys. That was Quentin. He's amazing. But and then I love the part in your book where you talk about the 3-day sold out tour in Colombia, and you guys actually play Wagon Wheel. You're talking about Wagon Wheel, and it just brings the energy up. And to me, I got a little emotional listening to that, because to me, if there's a Hootie movie, like, that's the last scene. It's like the 3-day sold out concert. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And the way you describe it is just beautiful. It's like the dream, and you're looking over there, and like your family's in the wings, and everybody's dancing, and like kids and wives, and that's the dream moment. You know what I mean?
It's amazing how it all has stuck together, really. A lot of times you see a band that's either taking some time off, or a band member wants to go out on their own and do something. Sometimes everybody just rolls with it. Other times, like, there can be a battle over fame or fortune. And it's funny what Darius did. I don't even think he had much of a confidence that this is going to be a big record. Of course, anybody that makes a record wants to sell 1 million records. Yeah. Or you're a liar if you don't admit that. Yeah. All of you artists out there, if you think you just want to be a cool alt, emo, we're low key, we don't have a lot of fans, but they're dedicated, you want to sell 1 million records, and stop lying to yourself if you're telling yourself some other story.
Could be 1 million emo people, you know?
So, yeah, right. So, anyway, with Darius and him putting out a record that in 2008 that went wildly popular, and this is, you know, preceding Wagon Wheel, it was like, whoa, what do we do with this? Yeah. We suddenly have a singer who's got a really popular album in another genre. And we had already decided we were going to take some time off. So it wasn't anything to do with that, but it throws things into a different state of balance or imbalance, I think.
Yeah.
And he puts out a second record, which is wildly popular too.
Yeah.
And then, it's Wagon Wheel that is like the slam dunk of holy cow, a Grammy. And it's the song that is so popular, it's become divisive because people are oversaturated by it. And you have a whole group of people that are, oh, that sucks. No, that's the best song. So, but that song, and especially in the book, becomes a power. It becomes a moment where this is the sort of cross-pollination of what can happen with a band that's had their moment, with a singer who separately had a moment. But if you stick it out, it benefits both of them.
Right.
And that was that moment, like, only want to be with you, hold my hand. Those are big Hootie moments. But I'm telling you, when Wagon Wheel started getting played live on that tour that when we reunited in 2019, it was next level. People like ushers that had been sitting there the entire show looking at us bored suddenly were jumping up for joy. People in walkers were like doing cartwheels.
Just healing the sick out there, performing miracles.
What is even happening? And that's the song that before, when we were doing the rehearsals and set list for that tour, it was like a question of would we do Wagon Wheel?
Right.
There's people that didn't. No, you guys don't want to do that. It's too divisive. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
It's wildly popular. We'd be idiots not to try it. And as soon as we played it, it was like, oh, those people shut up.
Well, here's the reality of that. They don't want anybody else to do Wagon Wheel. Because there's a time in Nashville, like, you go in this bar, that guy's playing a Wagon Wheel. 2 doors down, that guy's playing a Wagon Wheel. People are simultaneously playing a Wagon Wheel down the whole boulevard, doing the whole strip, anywhere you go. And it's just like, all right, you guys, like, we get it. But, if Darius is doing it, we all want to see it. Let's go, I first heard that song. Patrick Davis actually covered that song, and Monterey Jack's and I didn't even know it was like a Bob Dylan song or a Old Snake Oil Medicine. That's not right.
Old Crow Medicine
Thank
Joe.
you. Yeah, but I think that he did that song. So when I heard Darius cover it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that song. I'm like, damn, Darius sounds pretty good doing it. And of course, it became what it became. But shout out to Patrick Davis. I know he got opened up for you guys. Like,
we've known him a long time.
Yeah,
done a lot of shows together.
Now he's like the main poet of South Carolina and
poet laureate.
So he's doing great. Shout out to Patrick. I used to call Patrick P. Diddy, but now I can't call him P. Diddy because that's like, when I was doing that's, I got to think of a new moniker for Patrick, but Patrick's awesome. Yeah.
Patty?
Yeah, there we go.
See if he goes, see if he looks.
Yeah.
You gotta yell it out once and see if he looks.
There we go. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so you don't drink anymore. You've been sober, clean and free.
If I could, I would.
Yeah. Is it a bummer sometimes, or you're fine?
No, now down the road a while, it's not looking back. It's just what it is. I realized after a lot of trying, I couldn't do it like a normal person.
Yeah,
and that's really people can spend a lot of years or seasons or take it all the way to death, trying to prove that they can.
Yeah,
and I did that. I had probably a 4-year run where I was miserable. People around me were worried, and I kept trying to prove to myself I can do this with some manner of control. And in the end, I couldn't. And luckily, there's places to go for help, and I had to make a big turn. Not just, it's a mentality too, and I'm fully alcoholic, so getting to that point was like fear of, oh my God, what could I be if I don't have alcohol, or I'm not doing the shots with the band before the show or after the show, and I can't use that as an elixir or even the remedy for a hard work week, or it's used in society for so many ways to celebrate an accolade and an achievement, and I was fearful for years of what would it be like without that. Yeah, and you kind of told myself, I can't do that. Why would I want? Why would I want to be that? But finally, after I came to the end of my attempts to do it normally, and with the help of some people around me that love me, they're like, dude, you can't do it anymore. You're not good at this at all anymore.
Yeah. And your wife was one of the first people that approached you, according to the book, and she was kind of like, why do you want to live like this? And I found
this was Mark's wife at the time.
Right, yeah.
And she was like, didn't like anything to do with my development or who I was, but she saw it, and she was willing to say, you need to ask yourself a few questions,
right,
and answer them yourself about, do you have self-worth? Do you value your family? And she wasn't ask me because she needed to know.
Right.
She wanted me to answer them for myself because I needed to answer them and be, authentic and believe them. And so
I think that people that are like so lovingly harsh with you, that's really the people you need. That's also the people that you get the most mad at. So it ends up becoming a wife that you just fight with forever. And also you need that person because they're going to tell you harsh truths. And maybe that was like the start of some kind of relationship with you guys just because you're like, this person cuts the bullshit and like tells you how it is. Because you need those people in your life. Like somebody to tell you there's an egg on your face and you're going to get mad at them at the time. Like, you don't understand, man. Like, whatever. You blow up at them, but you need those hardcore truth tellers. They may seem like assholes at the time, but that's what you need.
No, I mean that's why they say the truth hurts, and if you're the deliverer of the message, you sometimes get accused of being the bad person.
Yeah,
he told me this or she told me that. Well, it doesn't matter who was the messenger.
Right,
you're mad at the truth.
Right,
and that's what I was. I had been intervened numerous times, and. It's easy to come at someone and say, hey, you're screwing up and you drink too much and you're out of control and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the alcoholic already knows that.
Yeah.
They need someone to come at them and say, hey, have you thought about this or do you have value for yourself? And that worked for me. I still drank every night for another probably month and a half before I came to the conclusion.
Wow.
After she asked me those things, and the disease is that just messed up is that I kept chasing it even after I tried to answer that question honestly, and eventually I couldn't, it was actually my daughter that sort of shocked me into going, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
When she came out and was like, why did your breath smell like that or something? I think you mentioned it in the book.
Yeah, she just sort of asked an innocent question, I think, but I was in a bad state. I'd stayed up all night and hadn't made it back into the house and was on a couch, and she came out, she was like 4 and said, Dad, what are you doing?
Right.
And she just meant, I think, why aren't you in there with the family?
Right.
Why are you out here? I was wearing the same clothes from the night before when I read her book to put her to sleep.
I've been there.
I smelled horrible. I was probably falling asleep while reading to her. Those questions are always easy to get around with a little kid. You can fib a little bit, but on this day there was something moving that was like, shut me up.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't have an answer for her, and she repeated it a couple times. What are you doing? And when she ran off frustrated, I was left again with that thing to answer for myself.
Right.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
And it was that answering it honestly for the first time where I said, oh, I don't have any control.
Right.
I don't know, and I need to ask someone for help. Another thing that we have difficulty doing, showing emotions in front of people and asking someone else for help and saying, I need help with this, I can't handle it.
Right.
It's a hard thing to do, and I was a 40-year-old successful man. I didn't think, I have a car in the driveway, I own my house, I have a family, and I have a band, a career. Don't tell me what to do.
Right.
But the fact is I didn't know how to get sober or stay sober. And that's the one thing I needed help with. So.
Right. I've had those, like, you're all week with the band party and get home on a Sunday, like, I'm watching the baby, the wife's got to go. I'm like, buddy, come on outside with me for a minute. I'm just like, he's like, Daddy, are you all right? I'm like, I'm fine, buddy. Don't worry about it. Just like so hungover because we just got back in town, like rolled back in town after playing like a couple shows and a couple benders or whatever. But my thought on the alcoholic thing is kind of like true for a couple of my friends, and it's that they're so obsessive that they can't just have one, and so they've been like pounding booze, pounding drugs, whatever. So when they stop, they start pounding something else. Maybe it's like write 3 records or like write a book, or like it's like my friend Jordan Miller, shout out to him because he's like the most prolific dude ever now. He's given up alcohol for a couple years now, and he has like an album per month or something like that. Like I'm like, dude, how? Like, how do you have time for this? I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I guess when I used to hang out with you were drinking all the time. So now instead of doing that, you're like writing all the time. You know what I mean? Or it's like you just replace like very obsessive, compulsive people. And it could be ADD. Yeah. And I think a lot of those really is like a spiritual blessing that people think is a bad thing. But it like most of my like friends that are super successful or like super ADD or like just do a bunch of stuff. And my problem is I'm more of like a slacker. So, but I find like those kind of people replace the alcoholism with something else, and they're just like go and
sure.
Or play, and some people get jacked, like work out instead of drink or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you're left if you drank like I did, which began to be not just at night, but sooner than that. Your hours get all screwed up. Even if you don't start drinking till 8 at night.
Yeah.
For me, I was going till 4 in the morning, so you're getting all turned around. But I found myself with all this free time, and it's not like I knew anything about my own OCD at the time. I'd find out later. Or
do you have
ADD.
OCD? Is that a?
It appears to be
Okay.
something I've suffer from, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was able to spend all that time into family, into writing. That's when I came up with albums in 2012 and 14 and 15, and it gives you all that free time, and also
clarity.
The obsession. The drinking is just one part of it. And it's the obsession about when you're going to get the next drink, or the obsession for me, which I fell into drug addiction too. How can I get my drugs? So you spend half the day planning and conniving and fibbing to people and lying about what you're really doing, and it's just a big old waste if you're alcoholic or addicted. It's a real dark place, and then you throw in denial and justification, like. You lying to yourself. It's a bizarre head game.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And then, just for the record, like you can still drink and be a Christian. Those are kind of two separate things, but they're all related. And that was something that always kind of like turned me off about the Christianity thing. I'm like, man, I love to drink and I love to stay out late. I'm like, now I realize like, oh yeah, like you can do both of those things. I mean, it's if you're not alcoholic, and there's plenty of people that enjoy beer and like, have like a normal life and can deal with it, I guess. I have issues with that too, but it doesn't necessarily like Christianity and sobriety. I mean, Jesus did turn water into wine, so I mean, there's that, but that's like moderation. Everything in moderation.
I mean, the rigid Christianity is a farce, in my opinion. Like, that's not being human. That's not being honest. That's just freaking tightening your fist and holding your breath and saying, I'm not going to do these things. And furthermore, I'm going to judge those who do. No, life is fluid, and it's a little, we're all imperfect, and acknowledging that and hanging on to each other and being honest and real with each other is part of some of the Christian values that I like to espouse and try and live out. It's not about, do you drink? Do you use certain language? I mean, we're supposed to not hurt people. We're not supposed to hurt ourselves too. And when we treat ourselves poorly, by doing too much of anything, then we got to reckon with that. It doesn't mean you're not Christian or Christian enough. That's part of my problem with Christianity, or the rigid conservative Christianity, is that they're full of shit. Nobody asked you to be that way. If you want to be that way and strict with yourself, fine. Go sit in the corner and have a freaking blast. But don't tell the rest of the world that they can't have a little fun. We're living here. We only got, 50, 60, 80 years, who knows, if you're lucky, and you're allowed to have fun. So, like, chill.
And in terms of the youth, in terms of listening to people like that too, it's way easier, especially for me personally. Like, I'm probably not going to listen. So I'd like to hear somebody like you that has been there and done that. Like, I'm not going to trust anybody that's never drank before to tell me not to drink. You know what I mean? And that's like some of the biggest rock stars that are getting through to people, like Brian Head Welch from Korn, and he'll be like, after the show's just ministering to kids, and he's got dreadlocks and makeup and tattoos, and he's done some serious drugs in his life. But like, that's who the youth is going to listen to, or somebody like you that's lived it, versus somebody who's like, I've never tried that stuff, but you don't try it either. And some of that is okay too, obviously. But I think, like, for me personally, I gravitate towards tales like yours and tales like people who have been there, experienced things. You've seen firsthand the dark side of it. It's not like a secondhand story.
Yeah, it allowed us as parents to teach our kids a little more honestly, or discipline them a little more honestly when it came to growing up and teenagers, and knowing that they're going to be exposed to alcohol and probably some weed, is to say, I'm not going to set some boundary that your child, I'm looking at my child, that you're just going to try and get around as soon as I said it.
Right.
Because that's what being an immature young person is you want to try some things, so what's the use of setting this high bar of a rigid law to say you can never drink alcohol till you're 21. I didn't do that. Most people don't do that. So what's the point of forcing that on as a teaching, knowing you're just going to force this kid to lie?
Right.
He's going to go find it, because when you're getting into high school, they're going to be exposed to it. So we had different ways of teaching our kids as a result of knowing ourselves, and a result of knowing, hey, I can't drink anymore, but here's what happened in my journey if you want to hear about it. So we told them all sorts of stuff, Laura and I, about the patterns of drinking and when we started and why it was wrong in some ways. But you have to let kids try things or they're just going to hide them.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't mean they should try things that might endanger their lives. And obviously, you don't want them drinking copious amounts of anything or smoking copious amounts of anything because their brains aren't developed. But let's get real. Let's be a little honest.
That's true.
And so, and especially as parents, if they see you drink, even if you're 21, why do you drink, Dad?
Right. Yeah.
Well, try answering that one, you kid.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You know?
That's a long one. Yeah, and I've had to semi-answer that. You know, it's like, why are you drinking a beer, Daddy? That's a tough one. I do tell like my nephews, and I'm like, look, man, I smoked weed at probably like 14 or something like that. But you shouldn't smoke weed until you're 25 because that's when the human brain stops developing. Like, I mean, weed is a great miracle for a lot of people. It's medicinal and it's great for people with trauma and stuff like that. But kids smoke weed way too early, and I was one of them. But I'm just like, man, I'm probably way dumber for it. I probably should have waited until my brain developed, and then you can just smoke weed, and it's
I'm the one who took the advice of everything in moderation.
Yeah.
Of concentrating on everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to make sure to do everything.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll try to moderate it, but at least I want to try everything one time. I was like abusing and twisting the words, and I don't know. I just think there's an honesty is a better way. Being honest with your kids is probably better than just relying on rules.
Agree. Yeah. One thing you said in your book that I really like, it was feel it, then heal it. And I think you were talking about responding to criticism, which you guys faced and every band faces, you know what I mean? Well, everybody faces. You don't have to be a musician to face it, obviously. But it made me kind of think about that, and like it hurts, and then I guess you pray about it, meditate it. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's anything. It can be your own failures. It can be criticism. It's anything that stirs up that emotion of you're sad or you're mad or you're frustrated or you're embarrassed. It can be a lot of emotions that get in there, but allow yourself to feel it. And it might be you might get angry for a minute. You might be sad, you might go introverted, but also take the time to look at it honestly and try and heal it. Emotions aren't wrong. I don't even think anger as a response is wrong. There's some stuff that makes us very mad.
Right.
We're allowed to be angry. It's how we respond. And so healing it is the point. It means you're going to look at it honestly. You're going to admit, oh gosh, I'm hurt by that. The words you said hurt me.
Yeah.
Or that criticism or that review or sometimes my own failure. Now I feel bad about me, self-loathing.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things that can come at you, but it's about facing them and going through the healing process. And the beginning of that is you kind of got to feel it.
Yeah, those reviews, that's a tough one sometimes for our band, our local press, they hated us, man. Like, especially once we got really big. That's the thing about you get all those bad reviews when more people know about you and stuff. When you're just like a little band that they kind of help get started, then it's fine. But that was a hard one for me. That was like a tough one, the criticism of the press for local press. You know what I mean? For my band.
And it's one that I've gone through years of believing certain things. As a kid, I was critical of a lot of styles of music. Maybe
me
as
too.
a kid, like that guy sucks and
yeah.
I hate them and all that. And eventually I became a musician and learned to open my mind a little bit and learned that writing songs is being vulnerable. And then getting criticism, I was like,
right.
Well, why is this dude like hammering us? We're just singing songs about how we feel.
Right.
Maybe think about what is a music critic? What is all this criticism about your art? And I've taught my kids a whole different way, and probably only with limited success, about you don't have to hate any art. If you don't like it, there's a volume knob.
There you go.
Shut up, turn it off, whatever. But don't tell someone that their art sucks or sit there and go on about he stinks and that music, that song stinks. No, it's somebody's art, someone's expression. And if you don't like it, then just go away from it.
Right.
Like, bring some positive, some love. You love something, talk about how much you love it.
Yeah.
That's great. But there's no point, because all you're doing is that music that you're saying you hate, or that artist, that guy's got a mom.
Right.
That guy's got a sibling. that guy's got somebody who's reading all this, and just that negative energy towards criticizing someone's heartfelt art. I just don't even today believe there's good or bad music.
Right.
I don't think what we did was good. It became popular. It caused emotional responses.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
what you want. But did some of the songs that weren't popular, were they bad? No. They just didn't hit with people.
Right.
Is somebody's music that they make bad? No. It's their expression.
Right.
And especially you talk about when your music gets popular, more people are hating on you. Isn't that funny how
yes,
you become more of a target when you get more popular? I think that's called jealousy.
Yeah, that's what we used to call it back in the day. Now it's like haters and whatever else. Yeah,
yeah, it's a funny world of psyche out there. I just don't put up for the hatred. I see stuff online. I'm like, this band's. I mean, Wagon Wheel was probably an extension of some of the Hootie hating. People just bashing on Wagon Wheel. Turn it off, dude. Sorry you have to hear it because everybody's playing it, but it'll go away. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you're sick of it. So that's on you.
It's a great song. I mean, it got played so much to where people were like, okay, we'll take a break on it. But I was teaching it to one of my students the other day and just going through the lyrics with it. And I'm like, it's a great song. You know, the cliches are true. Like what makes it popular is still popular and it'll never go away fully. I mean, it'll always be around. And all you guys' songs are, they're popular for a reason. They're probably going to stay popular for hundreds of years. Like 100 years from now, somebody's going to be listening to Hold My Hand. I mean, that's just,
I hope so. I hope they can play all 3 chords.
Yeah, indeed, man. So free will, does it exist? Go.
Free will?
Yeah.
We're experiencing and acting free will right now.
Agree. Okay. I always say if you don't believe in free will, just have like a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? Just like have a child.
Yeah, does it exist? Is someone arguing that it doesn't? Oh, yes. There would be, there's a term for that. It's not determinism. It's not, there's a word that says this is all pre-planned and your destiny is already set in motion. I have a hard time seeing that.
Agree. I mean, obviously we're bound by a certain set of rules. We have to drink water and eat food and stuff. So that's part of, I mean, unless you just don't want to, but you have a hunger. I mean, you're going to do certain things, but I mean, you can randomly just do whatever you want in this world. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, free will to me is kind of obvious, but I was curious to you about that. And God's will. What would you say about God's will? Do you think we can even decipher it? When people are just like, it's God's will, that I'm like, dude, you don't know, and I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't care if you went to...
I grew tired of hearing that argument, and it goes on today. It goes on in every denomination.
Yeah.
It goes on, what is God doing? Who is God? And I've sort of, over the years, come to a place of looking at that in a different way, which I'm tired of the who is God, because then you attach personalities that are convenient or inconvenient, whatever. He's jealous. He's this. He did this, or did he not do it? Or did he allow it? And that argument was spending inordinate amount of my brain power. So I look at it now with more what is God than who is God. And it's a place where I don't have to argue with anybody. And if somebody has a what is God or God with a personality, amen. If that works for you, that's all good. But for me, it's what is God? And to me, God is, experiencing love or participating in love. In John, it says, John says, God is love, God is spirit. And I think I like those more literally than people take them. I think God means we experience God when we experience and participate in love. I think that's maybe what could have been meant in that. And spirit, we're not quite sure what is in the ether. So for me today, I've to get away from the arguing and debating and warring, it's what is love? Love is something I get to part. It means some things. It means extending grace, extending acceptance, or having acceptance, having selflessness. It means being honest. It's a lot of things in there. But rather than argue about what does God mean or what does God do or why did he do, I'm done with that whole thing.
Right, yeah.
God is something we get to do. If it's only the acronym Good Orderly Direction, which we sometimes use in the 12-step model, group of drunks.
Okay.
it's people participating and trying to get to a place that has certain principles, many of them Christian principles, but they're not solely held by Christians either. There's a lot of Eastern religions that have very similar ideas about coming to be at one with yourself, finding peace, healing. All these things are worldly. And I've grown a little tired of Christians warring over them.
Right.
And any of the extreme groups in any of the religions are the problem.
Right. Agree. Yeah.
You know, if you're just participating in it, they all are generally about loving one another, trying to be honest, serve a greater good, our community. It's the extremes of that cause some issues. So
agree. I know we got to wrap this up, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me, but I do want to ask you a couple more things. 5 favorite bands.
5 favorite bands. Thank you for not saying what are the 5 best bands of all time, because I don't like lists that are someone claiming the 5 greatest guitar solos from Rolling Stone record, magazine.
Well, my thing is like the GOAT is your personal GOAT.
What inspired
everybody's
you?
personal. Yeah.
Oh, God, I got to go to the Spotify to see what I even listen to. It's got to be, for me, my inspirations.
Yeah.
The things that moved me to pick up a drumstick or
do you have favorite
piano.
drummers?
I have some
Ringo
favorite
Starr?
drummers, but they're for different reasons. Not Ringo Starr,
Okay.
actually.
I know you mentioned the Beatles earlier, but I feel like he gets a lot of unnecessary hate. Like, that guy's a terrible drummer. I'm like, no, he's not.
Not terrible.
He plays for the song.
He was in the Beatles.
Right. He's a great drummer. I thought.
Whatever he was doing, if it was too basic for you, then go listen to Vinnie Colaiuta.
Yeah. There you go.
But
some
it
Avenged
doesn't make.
Sevenfold or something.
Yeah, being simple isn't wrong.
Right.
Or bad. And so I think probably Elton John would have to be one of the ones that inspired me, sort of lyrically and emotionally, with his whole band. It's not just Elton John. It's Bernie Taupin, the lyricist. It's Davy Johnstone and Dee Murray and Nigel Olsson, the players. They made albums that at an important time of my life when I was very young just made me dream and made me think about music and melody and harmony. So I can't get away from that real thing. The Beatles were in there, but I don't know if they're top 5. I would say, gosh, that's so hard.
It is a hard one.
Top 5. One that, because they are a family thing for me, meaning my siblings and my parents when we grew up, was a band that is not known for their amazing necessarily songwriting or performance, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, yeah.
2.5 to 3 minute catchy ditties that my family celebrated in an important time of our growth, and they will always be embedded in me.
Yeah.
And as far as like being a kid who's going to one day pick up a guitar or drumsticks, that's shit I could play. I could accomplish it. I could sing the lyrics. I could do it, and that's a gateway, as a musician.
His voice, man.
I saw him at 80 years old last year at the Opry. I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
If I could be doing that at 80 and having that much fun, not being old and crotchety, but having fun, God, I'd be the most blessed person around.
I saw John Cougar Mellencamp a couple years ago at the Township, and he was like smoking cigarettes on stage and just got the gravelly voice and sounding great. And there's still like ladies in their 60s, like, showing him their stuff.
I think the other one, which was not necessarily something I listened to when I was young, but really important as an adult and as a drummer and as a lyricist, not because I drum like him or write lyrics like him, but the power of both of those things was Rush.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I saw him in the mid-'80s a bunch of times. I'll go out and catch him on this tour, which is just going to be amazing. Yeah. And their lyrics and their depth and that style of prog rock just has a deep place in my soul. I've binged, on our last tour, I binged 2 13-hour bio books about them written by somebody else.
Yeah.
And I read Geddy Lee's book.
Oh, nice.
And I just can't get enough of it. I think it's the coolest, warmest 3-piece maybe that was ever out there. So that's 3. But
we say Elton John, Rush, and you said CCR.
CCR. But gosh, I'm trying to think of a...
Oh, Beatles? Are the Beatles on the list officially?
No.
Okay, so that's only 3.
More for me, if you're talking coming out of the classic rock thing of influence, was probably Led Zeppelin.
Okay.
Because I went real deep on them too, listened to everything they ever made.
Yeah.
And it was super just live and organic and imperfect all at the same time. It was true art. And so Zeppelin probably had a big influence on me too in that way. And I'll say an era that nobody wants to hear, but I'll give credit to it for my musical development, and forever it will have an important place in my heart, is the prime country era of country. And that's what I was listening to, among other weird things like Yes and Frank Zappa and
when you were writing the songs?
Yeah. Yeah, it was to hear, and this is sort of the George Strait, Travis Tritt, late George Jones stuff, Hank Jr., the melodies, the storytelling, the instrumentation, the simplicity, yet the emotion of it that touches me. That era of the late 80s and early 90s, Garth Brooks is in there too, Reba McEntire, the Judds. That's where I didn't know until even after my book that that's probably the place that I drew a lot of my music that I was writing experience.
Right.
Simple, hey, catchy chorus, throw a couple harmonies on there, acoustic guitar, yeah, sure, a solo maybe, drums that were kind of getting big in the late 80s and 90s, a big snare drum, prominent kick drum. That's the stuff that like kind of shaped my songwriting. Okay. And it's what birthed stuff like Hold My Hand and Time and songs from the band like that. So, yeah, the fifth one is a genre.
The fifth one's all 90s country ever. Okay, gotcha.
But it cuts off by 96, out.
Out of there?
Out.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right. Well, there you go. That's cool, man. That's awesome. And this may be a tough one. This is probably a terrible question, like just for the closing. I know because we got to get out of here. But if you had just a quick pitch for Christianity, for anybody who's listening that's like, I think I'll try Christianity. What's it like? What would you say is like your pitch? That's a weird one.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Okay.
There's some great principles. There's some great stories. There's also a lot of metaphor and a lot of things that are not meant to be taken as written truth.
Okay.
So that's, I guess, what I mean by metaphor. Parables.
Yeah.
Jesus spoke in parables. I would say stick to what Jesus talked about.
Okay.
Stick to his life. And even if you struggle with the resurrection, and this is probably not what a lot of upper Christian leaders would say is acceptable. If you can't handle the whole resurrection story or Virgin Mary or any of that stuff, still stick to his principles, what he taught and what he lived, because that is a good litmus test. That's a good thing to shoot for, because there's still people arguing about the other stuff.
Right.
And there's still people arguing about a lot of it.
Yeah.
I've kind of landed with what Jesus lived, what he actually talked about, and the gist of what he was trying to say, not getting caught up in arguing over words or plucking scriptures from here to make your point. No, and he said some pretty simple things.
So if you just do what he said, if somebody's like, I think we'll give it a try, you're like, well, just do what Jesus said, try it out for like a month, and your life will probably get better. Is that fair to say?
It's going to get harder first.
Okay.
Because to live that life is also very difficult, because it means a deep self-honesty. It means trying to find and seek out humility. Humility, not like, run from it.
Right.
It means a little modesty. It means a lot of that. And those are hard principles to live by in any era. But he also basically left us with, the idea that if you want to take this into the future, to the apostles, act as I am acting to you now. And he was washing feet.
Right.
Desert feet.
Right.
Sandal feet in the dirt feet, not carpeting feet after you've taken a warm shower in America in 2026. He was washing feet, and he said, take this and do this to those around you. He said love. Right. And if that's not the core, or if some other rigid version of it is the core, I don't think you're doing it right.
I like it. Well, sir, you're inspiration on so many levels, and thank you for being here, man. You're amazing. It's great to talk to you. You're just you're warm. You're a being of pure light and joy, and you're the best. Appreciate you, buddy.
Man, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
We'll do this again when you run out of other guests.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it every week. It's a weekly show. Cool, man. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate you,
Peace.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.